Yo, what is going on, your hysterical horsies? Today we're taking a look at some new cards that were leaked from Japan. Well, I don't even know, they don't have access to them in Japan yet, I think, but they're shown over there and then translated for us. So we'll take a look at them. The first one is this Trevenant VMAX with a missing forest 40 times. The attack does 40 damage for each supporter in your opponent's discard pile for grass and a colorless. So that's not that great, of course, especially if your opponent knows you're playing that card. They can just I mean, if they actively play 0 supporters, you'll do 0 damage. I guess you have this max tree to do 180 for grass colors, so you'll eventually be able to put on pressure, but your opponent can definitely avoid putting supporters in their discard pile, so you can never really build up to big one-hit KOs. Who knows, maybe some support will come out for this where there's cards that come out that can interact with your opponent's hand or deck or something to get supporter cards into the discard pile. I doubt it. But for grass colorless, as a grass typing, that could be its biggest advantage maybe, and maybe there's some way to take advantage of that. I'm just playing like a 2/2 Trevenant VMAX to take advantage of Pokemon that are weak to grass. So we'll have to wait and see, but I don't think we'll be seeing Trevenant VMAX seeing much, if any, play. And then the Trevenant V has that absorb life, 30 damage, heal 30 for grass colors, and then grass colors 120. Discard a random card from your opponent's hand. So I mean, the V's attack could theoretically combo with the Trevenant VMAX, but unlikely. Even if it said look at your opponent's hand and discard a supporter card for 3 energy on the V, it's not very strong. Now, one of the cooler cards that was revealed that probably still won't be good, unfortunately, is the Garbodor VMAX with the ability Trash Hoarding. You can have up to 2 tool cards attached to Garbodor. If you lose the ability, you discard down to, you discard 1, keep 1 tool. And it's got that dark colorless G-Max Stink 120. The active is now poison and can't retreat during your opponent's next turn. And that's really where it kind of falls apart, is the ability is good. That's just a good ability to have. 2 tool cards, especially with the new tool card coming out. But then you get down to this G-Max Stink, and it's you're not even 2-hit KOing VMAXs. So why would you ever play this thing? And the answer is you just kind of wouldn't, because you don't do enough damage to 2-hit KO VMAXs, which is just pretty bad. I guess with Toxicroak, if you get enough Toxicroak set up on the bench, you could maybe do enough poison damage to set up the 2-hit KO, but it's a lot to set up. So I wish it had a better attack, because the ability is super cool, or they put the ability on a different Pokemon with a better attack, something like that, because the ability is super cool. Just the attack, the Pokemon itself, besides that, just isn't great. So, and it's also weak to dark, or my bad, it's dark weak to fighting, which means Zapdos, Galarian Zapdos V can kind of abuse that, and that could get gnarly. And then the V is nothing to write home about either. We got that garbage for 40 dark colors. Your opponent's active Pokemon is now poison, can't retreat during your opponent's next turn, and then Sludge Bomb for 130. So nothing really too impressive on the V, which most Vs don't really have too much going for them, to be honest. There's sometimes little things on some Vs. Then we got reprint of Copycat. If you guys haven't played with this card before, it's been reprinted many times throughout the years. Shuffle your hand into your deck, then draw a number of cards equal to the number of cards in your opponent's hand. So Copycat, copying your opponent. And it hasn't been good for a long time. It's rarely sees play when it is in format, and I don't think it's going to be any different this time around. Although it could have some cool situations, maybe. But maybe once Marnie rotates, I guess maybe we could see Copycat seeing play, but that won't be for a while, so who knows what else we'll have out at that point. But yeah, I don't see Copycat being all too good at all. So yeah, full of face shield, this helmet tool card. Instead of saying helmet, full face shield. The Pokemon this card is attached to, except Pokemon with abilities, takes 20 less damage from your opponent's Pokemon's attack. Oh, this doesn't even work with Garbodor anyways. You can put 2 of these on Garbodor and you take 40 less damage, but except Pokemon with abilities, Garbodor's ability is what would get the second tool on it. So can't even put this on Garbodor, which is what I was thinking. It could be pretty cool though, taking 20 less damage, basically hard charm, but 20 less damage in the current iteration of the game or whatever, with Pokemon doing so much damage, seems like it's a little bit too little. Maybe minus 30, minus 40 could have made a difference on some Pokemon, but I don't see minus 20 really doing a whole ton. So I don't think this card will see very much, if any, play, to be honest. Rescue Trolley, choose up to 2 Pokemon with 90 or less HP from your discard pile, reveal them and put them into your hand. Kind of cool card. I don't think it'll see play, but I could be wrong on that. Once again, we're kind of in a VMAX, those are the cards to play with right now, so I don't see Rescue Trolley really seeing play, but you never know, right? Toy Catcher, choose one of your opponent's bench Pokemon that has a remaining HP of 50 or less and switch it with their active Pokemon. So this card could be kind of cool, to be honest. We'll have to wait and see for sure, but be able to choose one of your opponent's Pokemon with 50 HP or less and switch with their active. as a free kind of gust effect, as an item card. It's not a supporter. It is an item card. Could be pretty good. You know, you hit a VMAX, they remove it to the bench so it can't get KO'd, and then you bring it back up with the toy catcher and knock it out. So, you know, bringing the VMAX back into active. So this card I kind of like. I could definitely see it seeing play for sure. Underworld Mask, when the Pokemon's card is attached, you take damage from an opponent's attack. Have your opponent choose and discard one card from their hand. So Underworld Mask could combo with something like Trevnor, but we won't have much time with those two cards in the same format. So Underworld Mask in some kind of control decks could be cool, but I don't really see it seeing play outside of that. But I could be wrong, and it could be just kind of good as a tool card to have around. But without Reset Stamp in the format, once again, when this comes out, we're going to be pretty much hitting rotation. So this with Reset Stamp could be cool. This with Marnie could be cool. I guess still not too ridiculously good because their opponent gets to choose the cards. So stuff like Reset Stamp and Trevnor, where you really limit your opponent's hand, definitely combos better with. But probably won't see play. But it is a very cool tool nonetheless. And I like when cards are just kind of cool, even if they probably won't be good overall. When they're just kind of cool, interesting cards, that's still a good thing. So moving right along, I don't think there was anything else to see here. There's the Rubber Gloves, which you do more damage to your opponent's lightning Pokemon. There's the Digging Gloves, you do more damage to your opponent's fighting Pokemon. Scroll a little bit further down to look at a couple more cards. I've already gone over most of this Dragon Flaffy kind of stuff, so if you want to check out that video, it's on the channel where I talk about my thoughts and give my thoughts on those cards. The other cards I want to talk about, was Lucky Popsicle. Heal 20 from your active Pokemon, then flip a coin. If heads, if you played this Lucky Popsicle from hand, then flip a coin. If heads, if you play, and then put it back into your hand instead of the discard pile. So you can kind of loop Lucky Popsicle and kind of heal infinitely theoretically. So this card I could see being good. Probably won't. Once again, it's probably one of those cards that won't be good, but you never know with a card like that. It could have some viability and something like a Blissey deck or something maybe. Some more healing there. Keep scrolling. I'm gonna find them eventually. They're here. Nope. All right, there's the Moltres. Once in your turn, when you play this card from your hand onto your bench, you may attach 2 Darkness Energy from your hand to this Pokemon, and then it does 20 plus 50 for each prize card your opponent's taking. So it can hit pretty hard, to be honest. So actually, the Galarian Moltres could be pretty good. And we're gonna scroll along a little bit further. Got the Galarian. Oh wait, this is the. No, it says Galarian Moltres. Galarian Zapdos. It's not a Moltres. It says Moltres right here. It's not. And it does the same thing, but for fighting energy, its attack isn't as good. You can discard all the energy attaches, and your opponent's active is now paralyzed. It's okay for fighting colors, and accelerating fighting energy into play really isn't that good at all. Oops, I seem to have clicked out of. There we go. We're back now. And then the final one, the one that's probably going to be most viable, I think, as like a one of in the Shadow Rider deck, is the Galarian Articuno ability Cold Charge. Once on your turn, when you play this card from your hand onto your bench, attach 2 Psychic Energy just like the other ones, and then the attack is Psychic, colorless, discard all energy attached to this Pokemon's attack, does 120 to one of your opponent's Pokemon, so it can kind of snipe and clean up knockouts off the bench even. So I think this one is actually really good, because obviously Shadow Rider is good. You want Psychic Energy in play to do more damage, and then it also has a pretty good attack to like clean up knockouts. You hit something, they run away, you clean it up later with the Spiritual Laser. So this one I think is really solid as like a one of, because I don't think you don't never have too many hands where you have like a ton of energy in them in the Shadow Rider deck, but now and then you'll have a hand where you just have like you're about to end your turn with like 2 or 3 Psychic Energy in the hand. So having this like accelerate those into play on top of the abilities that you already used on your turn, all the Underworld Doors and stuff, would be pretty good. So I think as a one of, this is probably the most viable one overall. The Moltres could be good in Dark Box, but once again, we don't have Dark Box around for very long. Once rotation hits, we lose Weavile and all that stuff. So I don't see the Zapdos being very good at all, because we don't really have a ton of fighting Pokemon to combo with it, but who knows, maybe more fighting Pokemon come out in the next couple sets after rotation happens. But the one most readily available to be used, I think, is this Galarian Articuno. And I think that's all the cards I wanted to look at. I'm scrolling to the bottom real fast to make sure I went over this already. Yeah, that's all of them. Some cool new cards coming out. The Galarian Articuno is cool. The Tool card, the Hard Charm Tool card is good. Nothing too ridiculously strong outside of those. The Toy Catcher is nice. All the other stuff is kind of up in the air. Copycat Reprint, who really cares? I wish Garbodor had a better attack. See you tomorrow.